Hi guys, I'm Sean. This is Alyssa. Guesses in our hearts, and this is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily. It is like 2 a.m. India time, which means that the first day of G20 meetings has come and gone. And as I understand it, it's been a tremendous success. I'm seeing here that there's been a Delhi declaration and that India has forged a consensus amongst the members. And so we're going to check in with our good friend Palki Sharma here.
What does that mean, though? Well, I only know forged in the context of like forging a check or something. So I'm just, what does it mean?
To forge a consensus is to sort of like create a consensus. Yeah, to pave the way to create a consensus amongst the members. As I understand it, Prime Minister Modi had a declaration, and then the other countries agreed to that declaration and sort of signed their names to it, whether that was literally or figuratively. That's the sense I'm getting.
So we're going to find out what this declaration
absolutely
is about. Okay, so this is from First Post with our favorite, Palki Sharma.
So the hype was real, and so was the fear of deadlock. We have been asking this question for a while now. Probably the most important yet boring question about the G20. Will there be a joint statement? Well, we have the answer now. There is a joint statement. The New Delhi Declaration has been adopted. Each and every G20 member has agreed to this. I'm sure.
And look at that placard right there. Notice that it does not say India. It says Bharat, which is definitely they're putting that name forward.
I just want to ask the viewers, do you think that that's sneaky at all in a way where do you think Modi he's not publicly saying anything. He's just putting it on the invitations. He's just putting it on his name tag.
As I understand it,
and it's like, should he have made some sort of announcement to the Indian
someone
people?
Was saying in the comments that someone in government had made a statement. And there's also a lot of people saying in the comments that, I mean, we're getting excited about it because we're used to the word India, but they're used to the word India and Bharat being used interchangeably.
Right, yeah.
So for a lot of Indians, this is just business as usual. And it's always been this way. But just to us foreigners, we're kind of like, this is kind of a new way of naming the country for us.
We watched a different First Post video about if India was going to be renamed to Bharat, and then we did find out that they already have Bharat as an additional official name.
Yeah, it's like one of the many names that
but then
India
is
has
it
gone
even being
under.
changed to, or like I guess the video was kind of about phasing out India or something.
Well, I think there were some people in the comments saying it's not so much about change because this has always been the case. It's just maybe now they're preferring to put a little bit more of an emphasis on Bharat as opposed to India. I also wanted to apologize for the pronunciation. There was a few of you down there in the comments in the last video saying, please watch a pronunciation video. So we watched like 3 of them before we started filming. And I'm sure I'm still getting it wrong.
It's Bharat, not Bharat.
Bharat.
But I'm just surprised the video we watched, if a government official made an announcement, it wasn't mentioned. Because she just talked about...
I think it was probably after the last one and before this one.
Oh, it was after the invitation thing?
Yeah. As I understand, just a government official had made some sort of statement speaking to it.
But are they making... also, I guess it's not really... Is it that necessary to kind of express this to the people there or ahead of time in a way?
It's the most important thing to express this to the world. India is on the world stage right now, and if they have a preference for this...
them making an announcement, I guess they obviously know, okay, on the invitation, they're going by this thing and that. Like, I thought maybe they would make a bit of a... Kind of like when someone, well, it's not new though. I was going to say when someone,
it's just sort of new to us.
I was going to say when someone has new pronouns or something, and they're like, or a new they're like identifies this. These are my pronouns now, and now I'm going to be this referred to this now or whatever. And so I thought that maybe they would say, hey, now or for this G20 summit, we're going to be referred to as, so no confusion here, people. We're going to be because I don't know. Obviously, these people must be up to date on. I think no one maybe there is alarmed about the name change.
No, of course not. And you know,
I guess
think,
I'm just naive, and I
think
didn't know till that video.
We were both very naive.
We had heard Hindustan, but I didn't recall hearing Bharat as a name for India. So then I feel like if I was there as a dummy, obviously I'm not going to be educated on the mat. I would be like, what's going on? But is this a different country? I would notice the flag, obviously, and then I'd be like, oh, okay. But then I feel like it's almost this unofficial, spoken of thing, as in like, hey, officially now we are going to kind of be using this for these diplomatic matters, these political matters, these meetings, this thing. Because like, I'm just curious. Every other time has that name tag said India?
You know, that's
like a big thing.
a good question. I think it's just India saying, hey, this is a name that we've gone by for thousands of years, and it's something that can be interchanged along with India, and that's just how we're preferring to put our name forward at this particular point in time. And so let's kind of hear what the Prime Minister has to say.
I got on a tangent there.
Indian diplomats are breathing a sigh.
It's just because I don't do well with change all the time. I get overwhelmed, but I'm just like, oh, what's going on? You know,
Indian diplomats are breathing a sigh of relief. You see, most of the G20 meetings this year did not have a joint statement. Not the foreign ministers, not the finance ministers, not the trade ministers. But when it mattered, India got the job done.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. I'm just talking to myself.
To say I
didn't want to say what I said out loud because I was afraid you would go on another rant. So I'm just trying to sort of keep us streamlined. I just want to hear what the joint statement was.
Sometimes my brain is just like it wants things to be black and like all this thing, or all, like to just always have it this way. Like sometimes when it's like sometimes it's the name tag says that. Sometimes I'm like, why? What makes the rules? What distinguishes it? I don't know. It's just my analytical brain that's kind of
all right, well, let's move along.
Figure out what's going on.
India got the job done. How it happened is also interesting. The G20 Sherpas or envoys had been working for days. They were stuck on one subject, Ukraine. The Western countries wanted tough language against Russia. Moscow and Beijing disagreed, hence the deadlock. Now, for a while, it looked like no joint statement would emerge. And it could have been embarrassing. Because every G20 summit has had a joint statement. Imagine if India ended that streak. So the pressure was real.
Yeah.
Around noon today, some positive reports emerged. There was talk of a breakthrough. And then before the second G20 session came a surprise announcement. Take a look.
अभी एक खुशखबरी मिली है.
Oh, I hope they have the subtitles under here. I think they will.
It says auto-generated
I think
subtitles.
they'll show some under here. Let's keep playing.
हमारी टीम्स के हार्ड वर्क से और आप सभी के सहयोग से नई दिल्ली G20 लीडर्स समिट.
Sorry, it says Prime Minister India.
Yeah. Well,
my brain just like wants it to be all labeled one way or all labeled the other way.
Your brain is going to have to give it up and get with the program. That this is a name that they go by. It can go by India or Bharat, and depending on who you're talking to, they might have a preference for one or the other or both, and get with the program.
डिक्लेरेशन पर सहमति बनी है. मैं इस डिक्लेरेशन को एडॉप्ट करने की घोषणा करता हूं.
Then he's going to read the declaration, I think. Makes it official with the gavel.
The 3 taps. You got to do 3.
Nobody was expecting the joint statement today. Tomorrow maybe, but definitely not today. But as far as surprises go, it was a pleasant one. So what exactly does this declaration say? It is 34 pages long. It covers dozens of issues like Ukraine, sustainable development goals, climate financing.
Getting 20 leaders of 20 countries to agree on like a 3-paragraph write-up would probably be difficult enough, but a 30-pager? Holy heck. No wonder they're pleased to have come to this consensus and so early on.
cryptocurrency, tackling terrorism, a whole host of issues. On Ukraine, the text is quite interesting. Here is what it says. Concerning the war in Ukraine, while recalling the discussion in Bali, we reiterated our national positions. All states must act in a manner consistent with the purposes and principles of the UN Charter in its entirety. All states must refrain from the threat or use of force to seek territorial acquisition against the territorial integrity and sovereignty or political independence of any state. It's a bit different from the Bali statement. That one mentioned Russian aggression. It also mentioned the United Nations resolution which asked Russia to withdraw from Ukraine. The Delhi Declaration does not. Instead, it adds a statement which Prime Minister Modi said to Putin. Today's era must not be of war. At first reading, the difference is clear. The Bali statement is much sharper on Ukraine. India's foreign minister was asked about this difference. Listen to his response.
I would only say Bali was Bali and New Delhi is New Delhi. I mean, Bali was a year ago. The context, the situation was different.
Is it just about the comments have changed now?
Yeah, I think
They're being more tough.
Well, I think I don't know what this other Bali was. That maybe another meeting or something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
I suspect the considerations were different there. I mean, they've got 20 different countries with 20 different points of views, and so they might have to modify or adapt the language so that all the countries are ready to, sign on to that declaration, and that's happened. So that's a good thing.
I think there was a change of tone from the Bali days.
That's right. Yeah.
Not necessarily just for the other people to understand more.
The language was softened, probably to to get everybody on board.
Things have happened since then, and in fact, if you see in the geopolitical segment of the leaders' declaration, there are in totality 8 paragraphs, 7 of which actually focus on the Ukraine issue, and many of them highlight problems which are of great contemporary significance.
Bali was Bali, Delhi is Delhi. India's G20 Sherpa has highlighted 5 major points from the declaration: strong and sustainable growth, accelerating progress.
Oh, I got it opposite. It's saying that the Bali declaration mentioned Russia's aggression when the New Delhi one doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.
The new and the Delhi one's the new one, right?
So
you could see it as like New Delhi Declaration doesn't New Delhi Declaration.
Yeah. So the New Delhi Declaration. I get it. Yeah.
Or is it literally just saying the city?
They're just saying the city.
Yeah.
Points from the declaration.
But it's the new one.
It's the new New Delhi Declaration.
Okay.
It's the only New Delhi Declaration.
Progress on sustainable development goals, green development, multilateral institutions for the 21st century, and reviving global cooperation. Now, these are mostly
these are good
issues. Of course,
aspirations.
there's politics too, like countering terrorism. The Delhi Declaration commits to supporting the FATF, that's the Financial Action Task Force. It's the same watchdog that put Pakistan on its grey list. Another issue is cryptocurrency. The G20 leaders have called for regulating, supervising, and overseeing the crypto market. The finance minister will take this issue forward. And finally, we have climate change. The Delhi Declaration acknowledges the impact of climate change, especially on least developed countries and islands. It urges all countries to follow the Paris Agreement. And what does it say? That global warming should be limited to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It looks impossible right now, 1.5 degrees. Many experts say 2 degrees would be a blessing. So the G20 leaders have agreed to take stock. The declaration urges all countries to revisit and strengthen their emission targets. But is the Delhi Declaration better than others on climate action? Well, India's G20 Sherpa says yes, it is. He has highlighted 3 reasons why. Listen to this.
For the first time, G20 has talked about tripling of renewable energy capacity by 2030 globally. Secondly, this is the first document which talks
300%.
about, which has very huge focus on fossil subsidies. And thirdly, this is the first time that there is a huge focus on billions to trillions of dollars in climate finance.
Those are the big takeaways from today. We had 2 sessions in the evening. One
Sorry, what? How was it going to tackle the climate change differently? Did you gather?
Well, that they were going to perhaps make less of an emphasis on subsidies for traditional fossil fuels, and that they were going to increase non sort of renewable energy sources by 300%. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they've got a few
Yeah, I just
ideas here to
wasn't
curb
paying
that temperature rising.
Earth and one family. We have another session tomorrow, which is one future. I know there's a lot of euphoria around the declaration, but let's not forget one thing. The joint statement is just one part of G20. A lot of work happens before it. In fact, I have some numbers for you. India has hosted more than 220
Whoa.
G20 meetings, 220 meetings. 17 of them were minister-level meetings.
Wow.
And where did they
60
happen?
cities.
Across the country, across India, around 60 cities.
I didn't know it was
60,
so widespread.
Hosted various
neither, yeah.
G20 meetings in the past few months. And that
Okay,
was
so it's been the
before
past
today.
few months before today.
Right
Okay.
now, around 43 world leaders are in New Delhi. These are heads of state plus heads of global agencies like the UN and the World Bank. There are 25,000 delegates from more than 115 countries in India's national capital, so the participation is very high and the outcomes are quite impressive. India has released around 112 outcome documents. That's around 2 to 5 times higher than the past G20 presidency.
Wow, that's very
These are all
ambitious.
very impressive numbers. They show 3 important values: diversity, consultation, and delivery. So those are the big takeaways from the G20 sessions. But on the sidelines, there was more diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi had 3 bilaterals today with UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, and with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. He also attended 2 important
I have
multilateral
a female
events.
Italian
One
president.
was
Yeah.
the Global Biofuel Alliance. The US, Bangladesh, and the UAE are also part of it. It seeks to increase ethanol
Biden.
blending in petrol up to
Awake.
20%. Some quick background.
What's that
Ethanol
thing?
is not
I
a
don't
fossil
know.
fuel.
What's
It
that
is
magic ball?
Yeah, it looked like he was sort of making a gesture there of some sort.
It lights
Something
up.
around, yeah, sort of maybe renewable energy or something.
What
I'm
is
not sure.
this? What is going on?
Nifty though, yeah. He sort of presses down and
Just seems so awkward. They're just standing there with their little flag. Sorry, just
how else
they
would you
just
like
don't
them to
look like
stand
they're
there?
having fun. Like, can they have some fun? Like, can we have something fun?
Well, this
A
is
dance party.
Of course, yeah.
Something.
This is the serious business that they're engaging in here. But no doubt there's the side conversations and the laughs that they're going to have. And, they're going to share experiences over dinner and these sorts of things. It's not all, just standing there with a straight
I think they
face.
need to.
They're building relationships here. I
Like-
mean, that's what the G20 is about. It's about building relationships between countries so that we can cooperate better, so that we can find out what our common goals are and we can achieve them together. And you see that in this, with a lot of the language for this G20. It's about unity. It's about one world.
The US, Bangladesh, and the UAE are also part of it. It seeks to increase ethanol blending in petrol up to
Okay,
20%.
lit up.
Some quick background. Ethanol is not a fossil fuel. It is derived from fermented sugar.
Oh.
If you mix ethanol
Another
with petrol,
energy
you
source.
can reduce
never
the
heard of that.
consumption of fossil
Biofuels.
fuel. That is the plan here, to take ethanol blending up to 20%. Now to the second multilateral event that he attended, a cross-continental economic corridor. They're calling it the New Spice Route. It will link 3 important regions: Europe, West Asia, and India.
Oh, cool.
I know you will have questions. How will this be done? Which countries are part of it? The network will include railway lines and ships. We told you about this yesterday. As for the partners, there are 5. From West Asia, we have Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Israel, and Jordan. From the West, we have the European Union. And from the East, we have India.
A lot of big
The United
members
States
there
is also
signing
part
up.
of this project, but they will not be linked by this corridor. We'll discuss it in detail. But first, listen to Prime Minister Modi and President Biden.
हमारा मानना है कि कनेक्टिविटी विभिन्न देशों के बीच आपसी व्यापार ही नहीं, आपसी विश्वास भी बढ़ाने का स्रोत है। कनेक्टिविटी इनिशिएटिव्स को प्रमोट करते हुए कुछ मूलभूत सिद्धांतों का सुनिश्चित किया जाना महत्वपूर्ण है, जैसे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय नॉर्म्स, रूल्स तथा लॉज का पालन। सभी देशों
It makes
की
sense. The more
संप्रभुता
connected you are, the more trust
और
there is
क्षेत्रीय
there, isn't there?
अखंडता का
Yeah.
सम्मान।
As a key part of this corridor, we're going to invest in ships and rail, that extends from India all the way to Europe, connected by the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel. Bridging ports across 2 continents, unlocking endless opportunities, including making it far easier to trade, export clean energy, expand access to reliable, clean electricity, lay cables that will connect
The lady with her
communities and
headphones,
secure a stable
trying to figure it
internet.
out.
The idea is to make shipping cheaper, to expand trade in these regions. But you can't ignore the political angle. This corridor sounds a lot like China's Belt and Road Initiative, and that's not an accident. These countries are offering an alternative to China's BRI.
I'm not
It's
even
a lot
gonna.
of information.
We'll do the belt. We'll do that next time. Let's just keep watching. We only got a few minutes left
Do
here.
what next time?
I thought you were going to ask about some specific questions here that were
I
perhaps
just need
beyond the scope of
I
what
just
we've
need a
got time
break
for.
from learning.
Okay.
It's sorry. It's not as interesting stuff right now.
Well, it's
I
going to
guess-
be interesting to you when you get your products cheaper and faster. When they've built this infrastructure, and all of a sudden you order a purse online and it shows up sooner and for less cost and all that good stuff.
Beijing's project is considered a debt trap. It also lacks transparency, which is why Prime Minister Modi emphasized on both these things. He said this new corridor will be transparent and will respect sovereignty. If you look at the timing, it's perfect. BRI projects are losing steam. Countries like Italy are leaving. So now is the time. And look at how broad this partnership is. It's got Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Israel.
Yeah,
The
I
key
thought that
is to
was
sell
quite
this vision to
fascinating.
the global south to convince them that it's better than the BRI. So day 1 of the G20 has in fact exceeded expectations. We got a joint statement. We got 3 bilateral meetings. We got 2 successful sessions and a strategic agreement that could free the global south from China's debt traps. I would say that's job done.
What did I call it again? A new route? A new what's it called? Like
It's
instead
sort of a new trade route
having a
to combat something
don't
that
have-
China's been working on
'cause,
for some time now. And so,
can I
yeah,
say-
go ahead.
because they had to go through China for their transport before, and now they're making. Sorry, it's hard to pay
Yeah,
attention.
not as I understand it.
I have a hard time focusing.
It's all right. I mean, I don't think you need to pick up on all the minutia here. I mean, the thing that we're seeing here is that there's been a lot of success already, and that they're sort of presenting an alternative to China's, Belt and Road Initiative. They've got sort of their own initiative that is going to respect the sovereignty of various countries. China's been criticized for some of the ways that they've rolled out their initiative. And so it's an alternative that the world can get behind.
An alternative transport.
Yeah, that's as I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Jace, well, there you
I
go.
need to understand it to comment and react to it. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, quite frankly, I need, to spend more time looking into that. I don't know how much, if any of that, we've looked into here on the channel itself. So there you go. Listen to this. It says, I don't see any other English social media channel providing such a comprehensive and professional coverage of this important geopolitical event. Thank you for the people who have conceived this unique channel and bringing our media darling, Miss Palki, to host it. Okay, well, we can agree with that. That's an initiative we can get behind and, put our stamp of approval on. Unprecedented job, says this one commenter. Very good. Well, there you go. We've, got up to speed a little bit on the first day there. Now, I'm not sure that we're going to be doing every single day of the G20 moving forward, but no doubt we'll want to, at the very least, check in with sort of a summary of how things have gone and hear about all the great stuff once things have wrapped up. And if you'd like to join us for that video,
Click the subscribe button, click the bell, choose all for the drop down so you get updated every time we upload. If you enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.
we love you guys a whole lot. This is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily. IRH signing off.
Bye.
Bye, guys.